Well, good evening. My name is Heath Queen, and I'm the coordinator for Engaged Learning in the Department of Business at Wittenberg University, and we are so excited that you are joining us for the first ever Wittenberg University Tiger Tank. We're so happy that you are here and joining us via live stream. Wittenberg is a long tradition of preparing successful entrepreneurial students in all the fields across campus, and we are excited to see that work done and completed here tonight in this event. Dr. Tom Kaplan, myself, and Professor Kevin Steidel have been working hard the past 6 months in putting this event together, and we have 8 student business projects that will be presented here tonight. They revolve from everything from nonprofit ideas to products to just business ideas in general. And we are excited for all of us, and especially for you watching via the live stream tonight, to be able to see these projects presented to 3 of our own successful entrepreneurial alums that have graduated from Wittenberg University. The live stream will begin promptly at 7 p.m. And the presentations will be approximately 15 minutes each, and we hope that you enjoy this experience tonight, and we hope that you enjoy joining us for this event. Please share the link to the live stream and get as many people as you want to tune in and watch the same event with us. We want to connect with as many alums as possible tonight, and hopefully this event catches some steam, and this is something that we can do in the business department for the entire campus every year after this. So thanks, and we hope you enjoy the live stream that will be starting momentarily.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tiger Tank. Come on, that's all you got? You've all heard of the Shark Tank, and this will be our little twist version of the Shark Tank without the investment and trying to win over, take advantage of young entrepreneurs. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to try and power up some young Wittenberg entrepreneurs with the help of some of our alumni, and Heath will introduce our Tigers in a second. But I just want to thank everybody for coming. It is absolutely wonderful to see the energy here in this room tonight, focused on entrepreneurship and all forms of entrepreneurship. I'm Tom Kaplan. I'm Dean of Graduate and Professional Studies here and the Nest Chair in Entrepreneurship. And we haven't had this many people. Wendy, have we had this many people in a room for anything like this? It's been 9 years for me, and it's fantastic. So thanks for coming. I think you will not be disappointed. You're going to see some really, really interesting and diverse stories of entrepreneurship. And the roots of this, just for what it's worth, Kyle Barber came and spoke to several of you probably went last year. And after that, we reconvened at Mike and Rosie's over a couple of beers, and several of us were talking. And Kevin Steidel and I were trying to figure out whose idea was this. Is it not that it mattered? But we couldn't remember whose idea it was. It was just sort of this thing that emerged as we talked. And wouldn't it be neat to put our own version of the Shark Tank up, but really help see what ideas we could help stimulate? And so we're really thrilled to be here. Heath, Queen, Kevin Steidel deserve a ton of credit, along with Wendy Gradwell and the business department. So Heath will introduce you to our Tigers, and then we'll get going. By the way, we have food over here. We're going to have a little break, a couple minutes break between each of the groups. So if you could just sort of wait to chase down the pizza until you were in between breaks, that would be appreciated. Thanks.
All right, well, I'm going to take a moment just to introduce each of our alumni who are kind enough to come back tonight and be with us for this event, and so we're really thankful for you, and this event really wouldn't be what it is and able to happen if it wasn't for your willingness to be here today, so thank you for that. Our first alum that we have for the Tiger Tank this year is Scott Muddy Waters. He's a grad from Wittenberg in the class of '87. He is the owner of Flippin' Water, LLC, which assists companies in various stages, so startups and more mature companies, with fundraising, equity, and debt solutions, capital and finance restructuring. He earned an MBA from Nova College in 1990. And in addition to owning Flippin' Water, LLC, Scott currently serves on the board of directors for Wittenberg University. So let's give Scott a round of applause for being here tonight. Our second alum for the Tiger Tank this year is Kyle Barger of '07, class of '07 from Wittenberg. He was a business management major with a minor in psychology. Spent 10 years trading commodities for the David J. Joseph Company, a division of Nucor Steel, and he currently owns the Champion Trading Group, a third-party purchasing and sales division for customers in the steel and metals recycling industry. He currently resides in Columbus with his wife Lauren and daughter Charlie. So let's welcome Kyle Barger. And then our final alum for the Tiger Tank this year is Corey Myers from the class of 2004. He's originally from Dayton, Ohio, who studied biology and chemistry at Wittenberg. He currently just moved back to Ohio. I just found that out today. And he serves as a strategic advisor and a co-founder for multiple companies, including Gamesmith Inc., Will, Trade Lanes, and Conduit Ventures. He's also an engineering recruiter for Tesla, correct? Yeah, so let's welcome Corey Myers. And now the moment we have all been waiting for. We have 7 great business nonprofit ideas that are going to be presented here tonight. And our first one is called Bailey's Capes from Melanie Bailey, or Melanie Barrett. So we'll give her a second to set up here and welcome Melanie to the stage.
My name is Melanie Barrett, and I'm the creator of Bailey's Capes. I've been involved in the handicapped community my entire life. I've done things like feeding through feeding tubes, helping change adult diapers, and helping people put on clothes that don't necessarily have the ability to do it themselves. 2.2 million people in the U.S. alone use wheelchairs for day-to-day tasks and mobilities. In the 34 developed countries, it's estimated that 1% or 10,000 people use wheelchairs. Out of those 10 million people, and out of those 10 million people, 95% have the ability to have a wheelchair. That puts my market size at 9.5 million people, and this market is continually growing as people are born and get injured. A lot of people don't really have a good perspective on what it's like to be in a wheelchair, especially when you're talking about something as simple as just putting on a coat. And I'm hoping that Bailey's Capes can provide an easier, faster, safer, and more stylish way for people in wheelchairs to wear coats. You can see that here with the handle slips in the back. It allows for easier mobility of the wheelchair than a normal cape that would just go on top of the wheelchair handles. Also with the head hole, it's faster and easier to put on and take off the cape than a regular coat with a zipper. The reason I didn't use a zipper is because especially most children in wheelchairs have braces or harnesses, and a zipper only allows for so much space. This allows for much more than that. Also, zippers can get stuck, which happens to me a lot. And in the case of a medical emergency, this is much faster to take off. Assistance can be there faster, and it could possibly save lives that way. This cape, however, is not only about functionality. Most of it is about the emotional appeal. I know firsthand a lot of people who have children that they care about in wheelchairs, and they don't have the opportunity to take their special person to the park or to go play their favorite sport or to dance in the ballet. Most children in wheelchairs can't even talk, or at least talk in a way that we can understand. So these unique designs allow a parent or caregiver to give their special person in a wheelchair a favorite color or an alien friend or a trip to outer space. And these designs and more can be a coping mechanism for parents and caregivers to give their special person a personality, especially if they'll never get to find out what that personality really is. What makes my company special isn't only the unique design of Bailey's Capes, but the story behind it. My product is called Bailey's Capes, and that's because heroes wear capes. And my big sister Bailey was my hero. She was legally deaf and blind, wheelchair bound, and had seizures every day. When she was born, the doctors told my parents that she would have a life expectancy of about 10 years, but she blew that out of the water when she passed away on February 23rd last year at 20 years old. She fought every battle until the end with strength and grace, and I want the world to know just how amazing she was to me and everybody else who she touched in their lives. These capes can be made for about $25 to $30 if the fabric is not on sale, but that price can be dropped significantly if I can find a better and easier way to buy the fabric and make my product. I've done some prior research, and I know that I need to find a fabric that's hyperallergenic, and I can't use something like fleece that can be pulled or picked off by children. I've been thinking a lot of how I want to move forward with my product, and I know that my main concern is to tell my sister's story. And I think the best way to do that is to use a for-profit production plan and use something like a Tom Shoes model where I can maybe give one away for everyone that I sell to really get the story out there. I know a lot about how this cape can help somebody in a wheelchair and make it easier for them. But what I need help from you guys with is to find out how to produce my product in the best way with a good production plan, a good marketing strategy, to help me figure out some safety design errors, and also to connect me to the right people. I know that people everywhere are going to love Bailey's cakes and love her story, and I really hope that you guys do too. Thank you.
Melanie, thank you. That's a wonderful cause and a beautiful story. How long have you been making the capes? Was this a project that you've been doing for years? Is this something that you started for Tiger Tank? What's the story and history of it?
Well, we had one for her, my family did, when I was probably 8 or something, was when like the first one was created. And then after she passed away, I really wanted to do something, because she didn't get to know many people, because she wasn't home, she couldn't talk, or speak, or anything. So I wanted to find a way to really let people know how amazing she was. And so I thought, I could turn this into a business. So when I started applying to colleges, I was like, they have an entrepreneurship department, they do. And when I came here, I'm not in the entrepreneurship department, but I came to Mr. Seidel, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Can you kind of help me? And now we're here, and I've made some, and people love it, and I'm super excited.
Great. What's your year and major?
I'm a freshman.
Okay. And is this something that you would want to pursue full-time once you graduate?
That would be amazing if I could do that.
Awesome.
Help me understand the buttons. Is there any relevance to the buttons?
They're cute, and they match, and
It sounds like my
they're
wife's
super
sick.
design. They're cheaper than a zipper, and they're easier to put on because I don't know how to sew a zipper. So when I was making prototypes, that wasn't going to work out for me.
I guess, where would you see the market for someone to buy this? Would they be buying it at a store? Would it be at a hospital? Where would you envision?
I kind of started with my limited ability making a website, and it's not up and running yet because I don't really know how to do that, but I've kind of been working on it. Also, I've talked to Brookdale communities about retirement homes for fabrics that aren't as child-friendly for adults. I talked to Dayton Children's Hospital where she passed away, and they said, as soon as you get it going, test it out in our gift shop. So I can really see it in multiple different markets, and people are giving me the chance to do that, so I just really have to pick where I want to, and I'm not sure which one I want to go with yet. I would love to see it in Dayton Children's Hospital just because that's what means a lot to me, but to get it out there more, maybe the website would be a good idea so people can kind of check out their story and that kind of thing.
Yeah, first off, thank you. That was, excellent stats, great research. The only question I had was in terms of profit or not profit. Was there a reason behind that? Just curiosity? For profit or for not profit?
Well, if I could get it started, paying for college is a struggle, so I thought maybe I could make some money off of it and do it over the summer full time and make some money, try to help me get through my years here because I love it here and I really want to.
No, completely understandable. I think that when you're talking about the go-to-market strategy, the ability to get this product into the consumer's hands is going to be the challenge, right? But I think if there's a way to play on, hey, this is really, you want these individuals to view this as their own personal superhero, right? So in terms of your ability to potentially monetize, as opposed to making a certain specific spaceship or monster in bulk, and maybe run the risk of those not being popular, maybe if you do either find someone you can partner with to help build a web presence that has almost like a UI modification tool, so the individual that's either purchasing, or the user itself can say, this is the superhero I want to be. And they can customize their own blanket, making them feel much more comfortable wearing this around. Then you could drive the price point up as well because it's a customized build as opposed to just a large manufactured good.
Right.
So that was the only thought I had about that.
Thank you.
Would you foresee once somebody buys one product to have your sister's story in like a index card with that?
So I went on Vistaprint and I was like, what would it cost to make like a little card? And they do like $9.99 for business card prices. And I thought that maybe I could just attach like a little business card with her story on the back or something and the website on the front to every product that I have. That was my thought process on it.
Yes, I think this is a beautiful avenue to tell Bailey's story, right? But I also think it's a great idea as a for-profit business. How much research have you done for competitive products? Are there other products out there that are similar? What have you done there?
I have done a lot of research and I found two. One is on a medical website and it's about $150 and it doesn't have the wheelchair handles. It has a hood and it's not as cute, so I'm not getting on it. The other one, it's not short in the back and that helps, I think, with the wheelchair because things get caught in the wheels when you push it. And so I don't see how that would work for a wheelchair. And it also only comes in 3 colors, navy, black, and red, I believe. So this is more personalized. It's really about, giving that child a
Right, so I think that's beautiful because there's a market for this, but there's very little competition. And the barriers to entry are finding the designs and creating them yourself. I assume you're doing these yourself. Obviously, there'd be a way to mass produce this and lower your cost per unit significantly. And if your competition's charging over $100 per unit that's not customizable, I think there's huge opportunity there. Also, I think the Tom's concept is brilliant because that's a feel-good purchase for a lot of people. So they're doing this because it fills a need for somebody in a wheelchair. They also feel really good about it because your product is unique, it's cheaper than the competition, and they know they're doing good for somebody else. And that allows you, I think, to do your mission of spreading Bailey's name, her story, and being able to donate products to those in need who maybe couldn't afford. I think that's brilliant. Great idea.
Yeah, one final thing with, as you mentioned, trying to make some cash in college, I really understand that. It could be interesting to try a couple different modifications of like a Kickstarter. But in addition with that, is there, through your time with your sister, was there a friend that she had met or someone that you had grown close to that you could almost, leverage as like a, kind of a partnership with this individual? And half of the proceeds or a certain amount of the proceeds would go to sponsoring some of the care for that individual. And then maybe every quarter or annually, shuffle different individuals in and out so you keep very close to the community while getting your sister's story out there. You still have that feel-good effect at the time.
I went to Butler High School, and they had a program there for children in Capes, and I've been there, and I'm gonna go back and put these on them and do photo shoots and stuff. So that's kind of
maybe finding a family that is a little bit, more in need of financial services and kind of having that a bolt onto the entire package. I think that might be a more compelling story as well.
One of the things I think diversifying the product too, because this is a pretty heavy blanket, so this time of year is perfect. But maybe having something that's a little bit lighter, or you said zippers are an issue. I noticed the buttons, but the buttons don't actually open up. So that might be a really good idea to have maybe lighter fabrics, more breathability, because I know sometimes if you're sitting in a wheelchair and you don't have a lot of mobility with your comfort, being able to maybe open it up or have, and as a business, you're selling multiple units, right? You've got a heavier one for the wintertime, you've got another one for fall or spring where it's a little bit lighter, a little more versatility. That could be another good idea.
I've been hoping if I can get it up and started and get the funds to try more things like that, I can do something like a raincoat. And because with my sister it was a little bit different because really the only time she went outside was when we took her to Ponderosa and we were outside to get to the handicap van and she said in and then we got into the restaurant and that was really it, except for walks sometimes when it was nice out, so the heavier thing was better. But I know that there are different markets out there and I really like to explore those. I just need the ability to do that.
Awesome. Great idea.
Right.
Great job, Melanie. Up here in the band stage.
story. All right, we're going to take a quick 1-minute break, grab pizza, do whatever you need to do as we prepare for our next contestant. All right, everybody, we're ready for contestant number 2 here in the Tiger Tank. Welcome, Joshua Butler and his company, Donate Magic.
So, football teams, baseball teams, marching bands, what do they all have in common? They all like to fundraise for money. And they use some rather outdated tactics, and they try to sell a small variety of products. Every school group always tries to sell maybe things like popcorn or candy bars, or if you're lucky, they'll try to sell you an overpriced $20 tub of cookie dough. So really, school group fundraising needs a revolution. Whenever I was in high school, one of the band directors at my school decided that he had the new revolution in fundraising. And his new idea for fundraising was to sell trash bags. People bought trash bags because everybody uses trash bags, of course. Whenever people got the trash bags, they had the school name and logo, our mascot, on them. The very next week after the trash bags were delivered, I was on my way to school, and as I looked out onto the road, I saw trash bags full of trash with the school's logo on it. So this revolutionary idea that he had came up with really just made the school look trashy. So I have a new revolution that's actually going to work and will not make school groups look trashy. And my idea is Donate Magic. So if you take a look at your packet, DonateMagic.com is a website which allows you to donate to your school group or other nonprofit organization by shopping online, signing up for free trials, watching news videos or viral videos on YouTube, or completing surveys. So if you look through the packet, on the first page of the packet, there's a document that tells you how to use the website and provides you with a group code that you would use to sign up on the website. The group code is used to make this seem like an exclusive thing that you have to do to support your group. On the second page, you actually see an overview of the homepage of the website. The homepage basically tells you more about how the website works. On the third page, you can see how you can register for the website. On the fourth page, you will see an example of how you would actually confirm that your account is legitimate. On the fifth page, you have an example of the login page. And then on the sixth page, there's an example of the user dashboard. User dashboard has your name, the school group that you're supporting, as well as the amount of money that you have donated by shopping online. At the bottom of the user dashboard page, there are 3 different options. You have the option to shop online, sign up for free trials, or watch videos. On the 7th page, you can see an example of how shopping would look. You would be presented with a variety of different stores, a link to their website, as well as the amount of your purchase, which will be donated back to the school group. On the 8th page, there's an example of different websites you can sign up for free trials. There's popular websites like Hulu, Gamefly, and BarkBox. You can make a donation of up to $5 just by signing up for those websites. And then on the 9th page, you can see an example of different video categories. You can donate to a school group or organization by watching viral videos, watching news or weather videos. And then on the 10th page, you see an example of a document that each school group would receive at the end of the month, which would provide an overview of the sources of money that they earned. So, Donate Magic is unique and better than other websites because of the fact that you can sign up for free trials, complete surveys, and watch videos. Everybody checks the news or checks the weather, or sometimes just spends their time looking at cat videos on YouTube. So why not actually be able to donate to your school group by doing those things? In addition, everybody loves to share their opinion, even on things that they probably shouldn't, like politics. So if you want to share your opinion on politics, do it on Donate Magic, where you can donate $1 to your school group by doing that. So really what I need from you is business help and guidance, and I hope that you're ready to help me donate to the school group.
I guess since I'm the closest to the mic. So there are two things I guess I have questions on. Number one, I looked at, I don't even know what page this is, but I thought it was kind of funny. Your inbox has 3,448.
Yeah, I'm very good at checking my email.
If you're going to get into this project, you might want to start clearing the inbox. How much are you envisioning people donating in this program?
Well,
Typically, first off, if there was cookie dough out there, I'd definitely give you the $20 for the cookie dough. But typically, what are you looking for a donation? Because when you sold the bags, how much were you selling the bags for?
So the amount of money that you would be able to earn by using Donate Magic varies depending on what websites people would shop online at, what free trials they would sign up for, and how many videos or surveys they would complete. Really, the advantage of Donate Magic over the original traditional fundraising methods is that instead of having to buy food or something you may not necessarily need, you can now go online or shop for clothes, which everybody wears, or maybe shop for something that's more relevant to you and donate at the same time.
And do you see this going outside the box of just schools or?
This idea could work for school groups or organizations, churches. There are some websites that allow you to sign up and shop online to donate to national charities, but there's really no website that allows you to shop and donate to local school groups. And even at that, there's definitely no website that allows you to donate to any type of charity or nonprofit by watching videos or completing surveys or signing up for free trials.
Joshua, nice work. This is a good concept. So I assume the website's already live?
The website is live, but it's not completely functional. I'm still working on it.
So I think this is a market that's already a bit saturated. There do seem to be a lot of websites where you can take surveys, get paid a few cents at a time, earn points toward gift cards, things like that. Amazon also has, I think, Amazon Smile, where a portion of your purchases can go to whatever charity of your choice. What I like about your idea is you have the versatility. Now, the question is, on the videos, are these, I assume these are videos the sponsors want people to watch. People can't just surf YouTube and make money, right?
Well, there are some, so there would be YouTube videos with popular categories with advertisements overlaid on them, so.
Gotcha. So, I guess my idea, and I think Corey will probably have a lot more to add on this from his experience, this all comes down to the sponsors you can get who are willing to say, for every click, for every view, for every dollar spent, I'll give you X percentage.
Exactly.
And it's a great idea because if people don't want to buy cookie dough or trash bags, they can buy whatever they want. But the key for you is you have to get these big retailers on board to give you a percentage of that. And that's going to be the make or break. And then beyond that is getting users, daily active users who are actually using the website. Now, the people who are going to take advantage of fundraising will be in there. How do you just get Joe Schmo to get on this website to still generate revenue, but maybe he doesn't have a cause? That'd be a challenge.
Where are you from?
I am from Ironton, Ohio.
Did you build this website yourself?
I did build it.
What tech were you using?
It's built using a variety of different programming languages, PHP, Node, JavaScript. It's all custom built. I didn't use a website builder or anything. I did it all myself.
So, how long have you been coding for?
About 4 years.
Cool, man. Yeah, so I agree with Kyle. I think it's a good idea. I think that the market is saturated. I mean, obviously, to his point, the biggest challenge is going to be getting these entities involved. My thought was, in the essence of just like proving the concept and just gaining some incredible traction within that space would be almost reverse engineer, right? You obviously have an entrepreneur spirit. Start off with Ironton, right? Or maybe your high school. And instead of going to the Walmarts or the Amazons, look at the early entrepreneurs in that community, right? Is there someone that has a car wash? Or is there someone that has their own pizzeria? And talk to them and say, hey, if the people in the town come here for X amount or spend X amount on a family night of pies, like, will you kick back? So then you're getting to swell within that community, and you're also kind of fighting, or you're swimming downstream, right? As opposed to going up against the big players, you're just tapping into the community of network that you already have. And it really starts to take off. You can spawn two some entrepreneurs here at Wittenberg that live in different cities around Ohio that want to do the same thing and help you out. And then you're starting to get the traction in multiple different communities. Right? That'll be my feedback about it.
Thanks for the idea, Josh.
Joshua Butler and Tony Mitchell, thank you, Josh. What a great idea. And great feedback from the Tigers. Corey, I love the tech background. And Joshua, don't worry about that inbox either, brother. I got like 10,000 in mine, so you're all good. Don't even worry about that. All right. We've got a quick 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute till our next Tiger Tank contestants ready.
I know. That's going to be my first comment. Brother, we're going to work on that inbox. That would try to
All right. I think we're ready for our next contestant. We have Morgan Beachy and his company, Food Through Thought. Welcome, Morgan Beachy.
Hello, Tigers. My name is Morgan Beachy, and my company is Food Through Thought. And I'm really seeking either a mentorship or a partnership with alumni who can help me start my own nonprofit organization so that we can start tackling America's food problem together. What Food Through Thought is, it's a food philanthropy organization that is going to focus on alleviating food deserts in inner city and rural areas in America by taking food that already exists and might go to waste in places like grocery stores, in large orchards or large corporate farms, and taking that food and delivering it directly to the people who need it the most. So what I want this business to be is essentially a FedEx for food. And the boxes will contain food, 6 meals, portioned out for 4 people, since the average American household size is around 4, and it will be delivered on weekends. However, each meal will be focused around being able to be prepared in 30 minutes or less, since a predominant number of food insecure households in America are single parent households, meaning they're probably working 2 or 3 jobs and won't have as much time as conventional parents to cook for their children or teach their children how to cook. Growing up, my family could have used this business. I grew up in a lower middle class suburb house in Pennsylvania, and both my parents worked to make ends meet. Our idea of a splurge was going to Burger King and getting a blockbuster movie and watching it as a family. Until my dad, unfortunately, lost his job my freshman year of high school. And we started having to buy frozen meals at the grocery store, which were very high in fat, very high in salt. We started having to drive 30 minutes one way to our church to pick up a food box once a month. We started having to eat off dollar menu almost on a weekly to daily basis in order to make ends meet. I remember sitting in high school in the cafeteria, angry and demoralized, eating one of the free lunches, and I felt also a little bit ashamed, wondering how in a country with so much excess food, people can still go hungry. Food Through Thought will take the food that is going to go to waste, focusing specifically, however, on Springfield, Ohio, because Springfield was the #1 food insecure city in the state of Ohio in the year of 2015. While I was doing research and networking, trying to talk to people who are very familiar with this issue, I was able to talk to a man by the name of Terrence Shannon, who is the former CEO of the largest food bank in America. And through that conversation, it became clear to me that it's not just a food problem. It's an access and it's a logistics problem as well. So if you want, please go ahead and open up the box, because that is also part of what this presentation is. So it's an access and logistics problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the food and deliver it directly to the family's doorstep. So inside each box, as you can see, there will be fresh produce, food, that will be packed in a way that the bruisable, the easily damaged produce is on the top and the tougher, more durable goods on the bottom. There will be a list of resources for residents of Clark County so that they can use things like Second Harvest Food Bank, things like churches that have weekly hot meals, and they can be used in tandem with Food Through Thought. It will also include a list of vegetables and how to prepare them, because some of the people receiving this program very well may not have received or been able to cook with vegetables or fruits before in their life. So even though it's a philanthropy, I want to make sure that this product is as high quality as possible, on the same line as Blue Apron, Purple Onion, because these people, they're not just less fortunate people in poor neighborhoods. They're our neighbors, they're our colleagues, and quite possibly our fellow students too. So I had kind of a eye-opening conversation with one of my dear friends in the education department. And she told me one day as we were talking, and I got to talking about this project, that some of her students come in Monday morning and they eat breakfast, and it's almost as if they have not had any access to food the entire weekend since they had their free lunch on Friday. 41 million Americans currently struggle with food in America, and 1 in 5 children in Ohio struggle with food. On that note, 31% of Springfield residents are below the national poverty line. So what I want to do through this company is to help take America one step closer to being free of hunger, one family at a time. Thank you.
Morgan, thank you. And is it York, PA? Is that right?
York, Pennsylvania, correct.
Yeah. Eagles fan?
Good day.
Oh, okay. All right. Go Bengals. So, think it's a great idea. The one thing, I got a little bit of feedback on a few things. So I think the facts, so Morgan has facts on each of the items inside the box. I think that's great. But if your target market is a struggling family, maybe drawing attention to the fact that they're struggling may not be the best idea.
Oh, sorry, that was to help you like read the facts as I was presenting. They're not going to be on the actual like product.
But I actually think it's a great idea in terms of if you partnered with the Blue Apron and did the Tom's idea, where every meal they sell have these facts on them. Somebody understands that, and it equips them to make a continued purchase, and they separate themselves from other companies where now you don't have to get the day-old food at Kroger's. You can provide high-quality product where every meal they buy provides a meal for somebody else. Because the hardest thing with your idea is even though it's nonprofit, you still have to generate revenue.
Yeah.
And
Cover costs.
on this concept, it's going to be 100% donation-based, I would assume, because you have to pay for people to collect the food, put it in these meals, and deliver it on the weekends.
One
right?
brief thing there. So the national government actually just came out and said that they're looking at revamping the food stamps program. And basically what their plan is almost a carbon copy of my business model. So what I would also be trying to do is accessing communication in order to become a contractor through the government and secure a lot of funding that way as well. Because one of the differences between the proposed project and current food stamps is they would take produce, they would take food and deliver to households, but it wouldn't include fresh fruits and vegetables and healthy food as well, which is why I'm starting this.
Yeah, and I guess in summary, your experience and perspective, I love that it's touched your life to want to do good with your idea. And I would just encourage you that with your idea, find a way to add value to partners that'll help take care of that funding for you so you're not always dependent on a grant or something like that to keep it running. Good idea.
Great idea. I think just logistically, it's just going to be it's a tough thing.
Yeah.
But kind of thinking through this, maybe you try to work something out with Uber or Lyft or somebody like that. Maybe it's a Lyft, right? Because you're not needing a credit card, right? You can use other payments with Lyft. Am I speaking the right language? By the way, I had my first Uber ride the other day.
How was it?
You know what? It was fantastic. The conversation was really good. Both ways, by the way. But I think logistically, you're just going to have to it's just trying to get that stuff around, especially here. And again, maybe it's working with the church. Might be, one part of that you're going to have to really focus on. I can't think that you're going to be able to mass market this to all of Springfield. Maybe it's going to be you're going to have to take your pockets of Springfield and work it that way.
Yeah, start small and build.
Yeah, I mean, I said that, agree with these guys. I sit in a lot of conversations with kind of early stage entrepreneurs and founders, and the fact that, everyone really tonight has kind of had a story around where their ideas sprung from. I love that, and I can relate as well in a lot of ways. Definitely agree in terms of the logistics, right? And that is definitely going to be a challenge just in terms of not just how you deploy it, but where's the food coming from, right?
So I had three kind of new ideas as far as sourcing the food. Restaurants who ordered surplus amounts of food, we could talk to local businesses. There are community gardens that we could look at communicating with as well to provide this fresh produce. And we could also look at partnering with chain food stores like Kroger's, Walmart's, but I'm assuming they already donate to like Second Harvest, so at least that's the response I got from Walmart. So,
I mean, that's just going to be, you taking that extra step of due diligence to figure it out. But I mean, with entrepreneurship on the rise, around America, I mean, for lack of better terms, it is kind of breaking down to the big organizations, right? So, if this is something you're truly passionate about, don't let the logistics get in your way, right? Don't let the sourcing of the goods get in your way. Just figure it out. Right? If there's a will, there's a way. And also, this kind of reverse engineered approach, like starting off just small, licking it in one market, right? Figuring out the logistics, operationally, look at a different target market with similar demographics and then replicate that and start to gain some traction around that and just reverse engineer it. Same thing I said to Josh. Right? So, thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Morgan. Morgan Beachy, food for thought. All right, we're going to save a little bit of time here. We're just going to bring our next competitors up. I hope everybody brought their Mr. Wizard science caps, because this next one's going to blow your mind. All right? I'm not even going to try to say the name of the business. This next one is on genetic identification. Welcome Cam Dubravka and Anthony Labarge.
My name is Tony Labarge. This is Cam. We are going to actually present you guys an opportunity that's actually never been seen before. This is something that we don't know why it's not being worked on. It's something super simple, but it's very undervalued. Cam actually had the idea that right now there's a huge amount of people in the world, he'll go into it, about there's people with infections and infectious disease, and it's on the rise. So what we plan to do is go through and talk about what our idea is.
So kind of building off that, every year there's millions of people that are infected with bacterial diseases, fungal diseases, viruses, and each year a lot of these are on the rise. There's antibiotic resistance. So a lot of the tests that are happening now in hospitals don't account for this, and they're not looking for this. So our idea was to use a genetic sequencer to actually look for these different types of antibacterial resistance. So not only would we tell them what they're resistant to, we would also tell them what specific strain of bacteria or virus it is, so allowing the doctors to better treat the diseases. Every year there's billions of dollars that are lost, over $50 billion lost every year in the healthcare industry to people trying to treat the wrong types of diseases, and that's what we're trying to target and stop here.
To couple that, there's actually $35 billion would be in loss efficiency. And so what we saw was that there's obviously a market here. What we decided to see was that we could, where we could jump in was we could step in as the person who could cut out a lot of the steps in the elongated process. To add to it, what we thought we could do was be people who add an efficient, and effective, and accurate source for doctors and other healthcare physicians. What we want to do is be the #1 source and start/take over a market that hasn't been touched yet.
Going off that, so why this is a big deal? So hospitals would love this. One, it would cut down on their costs up front. They would not have to employ as many people to do all these tests that they're running now. There's over 130 different tests that you can do. We could cut out about half those right now just with our program. Not only that, we could cut down on the amount of malpractice lawsuits that are seen by hospitals and doctors by providing better information to the doctors up front so that they can make a better diagnosis and treatment.
We didn't realize this at first, but we didn't think about the insurance side of this. Insurance would love us solely because of the fact that we're getting their patients in and out faster. And when someone's in the hospital for elongated periods of time, they start to, obviously, medical bills start racking up. The price of a hospital bed is astronomical. But why insurance companies love us is because we get their patients in and out sooner. A lot of the problems with today's medicine is the fact that when they get the results back, they're not accurate because there's a very low. The problem is the process of a lot of ifs, ands, and buts. And if this problem goes wrong, then the whole problem, you want to get the right identification. What we do, we get at a 99.9% accurate reading.
So I'm going to kind of take you through the steps that kind of what we would cut out. So when you go to the hospital, the doctor comes in and kind of physically examines you. They'll take any samples that they want, and those will go out to testing. There's about 7 to 8 different steps and tests that they can run. we would be able to cut out 4 of those steps and go right from taking the sample and either growing it. We would go right from there right to the end where you get the results of what the infection is. And we would be cutting out a lot of the middle ground between going from the sample growth all the way to the final identification purposes of that. So we'd be cutting out 4 steps that cost a lot more money than what our program would, and also we cut out a lot of the time in between getting patients in and out a lot quicker.
So to talk about what our service would be is companies would send us their products, or their samples, I mean, and what we would do is if you turn to your first page in that big color looking wheel, if you look into about the 5 o'clock region and count 3 lines in, you're going to see a blue little dashes. If you follow that ring, that exact ring, all the way around, every single spot you see a blue ring is actually the resistance to drugs. They can't, if you actually hand them the drugs in today's world, the infections are becoming more and more drug resistant. So if you follow that ring, that's actually a staph infection. If that follow that ring represents all the drug resistance, so clearly there's obviously a market. If you're looking at it right now, that means there's obviously a market. Because if that doesn't get treated, it just keeps growing. It doesn't stop. Staph infections are one of the most easily spread diseases that can actually kill someone. That's it.
Were you guys studying biology or chemistry, or how did you come up with this idea?
That's me. I'm bio major.
Cool. So how did this spawn? How did this come to be? Just curiosity.
I was laying in bed one night and it came to me.
That's that's how it happens. This is definitely interesting to me. There's a company that I recently raised some capital for, and I sit on the board for, called Thaddeus, and what they do is they essentially are shipping temperature-controlled various different medicines around the world. So I'm thinking, is there a way to give this to a lot of their clients up front to understand what exactly is, potential threat to their patients, so that we can hone in on what you need to deploy. So this could be an ancillary service to that, but we should talk more offline. I have a ton of questions just around what your thoughts are on exactly how you're going to get this thing up and running. So, great presentation.
Thank you. Hey guys, I love the bow ties. You guys look sharp. I'm very impressed. So I don't have any experience in medical, so I don't know how much value I can add there. But I do have a question. So is this a test that you came up with yourself?
No, everything that we would do is already out there. We would just have to buy the sequencer, and that's all we have to do. Everything else was out there to buy. We would just buy the materials and everything like that, and we would just run it. That's it.
So if these tests are already out there, why aren't hospitals already doing it?
To be very honest, the only reason that we could come up with why hospitals aren't doing this is the sequencers themselves are a lot of money. You have to have a separate area to do this. So they can better put their finances in hiring a better surgeon, or getting a new CAT scan machine, or a new MRI machine that would help more people in more specific ways than buying one genetic sequencer where they don't use it maybe every day. So our idea was that we would have one location centrally located in, so I'm from Chicago, so that's where we kind of did our research about it in Chicago. We'd have one location in Chicago where we would partner with the medical cards that carry the blood around, and we'd have a central location of all the hospitals within a certain region like that, and they would send us all their samples. So we wouldn't be targeting just one hospital, we'd be targeting many different hospitals within a region.
And that makes total sense. I think most hospitals or doctors operate on that, where they send a lot of samples out to labs for testing. The one thing I would say is from a business standpoint, follow the money, right? Insurance companies would love this because it cracks down on more bills that they have to pay for their clients. Hospitals would like this in a sense that it would reduce malpractice, but hospitals make less money because when they run their patients through all these tests, they can bill for all of it. So hospitals may not love this idea because it reduces what they can bill for. So if it adds value to the patient, that's huge, but figure out who you market that to, and that's probably the insurance companies that push these tests. But I think it's a really unique example, and
if you guys can specialize in an industry that already has these tests, there's probably money to be made there.
Thank you. Great presentation, guys. I think my question dealing with anything dealing with hospitals, it's a tough road. That is my advice. And to get them to change is even worse. You know, a lot of the hospitals now and even insurance companies will have risk adjusters, basically, for a lack of a better name. There are different names for different companies, but someone who is looking at risk assessment, this would be a perfect thing for, right? Because we all get it, right? If you can cut down from 7 down to 4, that's awesome. But as he just mentioned, the hospital still wants to get paid, so they don't really care if they run 10 tests, right? Because the end thing is we're going to be paying for it, right? So I think, to your point of doing something with a regional testing facility and getting part of that, where people are all coming to you, then you might have a shot. But it's a great idea.
As soon as you mentioned the fact that doctors don't like changing because it's slow billing, it's funny because we looked at each other because we actually were told in a meeting that because you do realize that doctors don't like changing. The medicine world's like a machine. It doesn't get changed once it doesn't get touched. They do things a certain way because that's how they maximize profits and stuff like that. But it's funny that you brought that up. But the way we would definitely have to market it to people would be to the sense that we need we need to send it to insurance companies to get their opinion on it. But we've also tried to talk to we're going to try to talk to doctors and see what their opinion would be, because we completely acknowledge the fact that hospitals want to make as much money for billing and doing as many tests they need to do. But we found we would think that we can talk to a doctor and think about, hey, if we offered this service to you, do you think you would use it? I think we would benefit a lot from that conversation, on the sense of if that's not the way we take it, then what would be the way that we would need to redirect our.
Yeah, I think the way you talk to the doctor is talk to him about malpractice. Yeah. If we could help solve and get your malpractice down, this would be a solution for that. Now you're talking about big money that they're pulling out of their pocket. Now you got their interest.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Anthony and Cameron, genetic identification. Great job, guys. All right, we're already ready for our next competitors. We have Chris Dunn and Maxim Boone and their idea, Golf Chalk. Welcome. Thank you.
Playing golf? I'm not working on it. You can have one. Cheers to you. All right. So, good evening, Tigers. My name is Chris Dunn.
And I'm Maxim Boone.
And we're the creators of
Golf Chalk,
a revolutionary product that would change the golf industry. So, Max and I came up with this idea one day at golf practice on a hot day. Both of our hands were sweaty. We're going through our round, and our hands were slipping on our clubs. Yes, we have gloves. A lot of golfers wear gloves. But we were still slipping. So what were we going to use to help ourselves not slip on the club?
So we started to look at the alternatives, and we learned why weightlifters, rock climbers, and gymnasts all use chalk instead of gloves. And they do it because they want the increased grip of chalk without losing touch and feel of a bulky glove.
So on the market right now, there are two types of gloves. There's a rain glove and there's a regular glove. Both of which, if you're looking for the top of the line, can cost between $25 and $30. So they can be very expensive. So our idea was, why not look for something cheaper that'll give you the same amount, if not more grip, to use.
The idea is so simple, it works. A golf-shaped bottle filled with chalk that can fit in a cup holder of a golf cart or clip onto a golf bag. When the golfer's hands get wet from rain or sweat, the golfers just put the chalk on their hands, rub it together, and the moisture is gone and they can improve their swing. The margins are so good that the chalk, when bought in bulk, costs just pennies per bottle. There's over 25 million golfers that play golf at least occasionally. We can target to the everyday average golfer.
So with Max and I's experience in the golf industry, we figured that we could market to the right people and have the best golf gift on the market.
To show you just how good it works, we'll have a little demo on you.
If you guys don't mind, get a little dirty. We got some towels for you so you can clean up.
We have a little spray bottle of water simulating a wet condition out just like it was today. Do you three play golf?
Not well. Yeah, not well.
So we're going to spray your hands with water. We're going to get your hands a little wet here.
And then go ahead and rub your hands together and then rub your hands on the grip.
So get that grip.
Nice and wet. It's a sweaty day. Your hands are sweaty.
This is normal.
It could be at the end of a golf match. Your hands are a little sweaty, you're a little nervous.
This is normal.
Yeah, they're just a little slippery. Those are actually new grips too, and that just shows you. So we're going to get your hands wet again, just a little bit, one spray. And we're going to apply golf chalk to your hands. So rub it together. It gets a little everywhere, but we're playing golf outside, so it gets in the grass. We don't worry about that, right?
Full tacky, maybe? Work?
I like it. I don't want to embarrass myself.
So that's our product, golf chalk.
Thank you for it.
I'll start this one. I love it. My question would be, why wouldn't you target the golf courses, right? Maybe the golf cart manufacturers to add, instead of just having the sand thing, have another one, which is now going to be the chalk. So by the way, regardless if it's raining, you don't have to worry about your hands getting wet because we've got the chalk.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, guys, great idea. Anyone who's played golf has had this problem. It's either too hot out, maybe it's raining. Even with a glove, your hands get slick. This saves golfers a ton of money because, like you said, gloves are $12 to $20. They wear out after a few rounds. You're buying new gloves all the time. The one thing I would worry about in this market is there's already a lot of people making chalk for different sports. You're ahead of them because they haven't thought about this for golf, but how can you keep them from taking your market share in golf? You got to find a way to have some kind of patent or some type of product that can't just be duplicated by somebody who's already mass producing chalk. I owned a gym for a long time, and our lifters use chalk for their bar grip. But I can tell you on a really hot day, that chalk turns to paste, and then that's no fun, and you're constantly going back to the well for more chalk, wiping your hands. So I think this has a ton of use outside of really, really hot or really, really wet days. I think it eliminates the cost for gloves, which saves golfers a ton of money. But I think your biggest barrier is going to be figuring out how to get these big chalk producers to compete with you and take your market share. Because I think you are onto something good.
Proprietary chalk that's unique for us.
Yeah, or make a product that's not just straight chalk that you can patent, so they have to come up with something better. Right?
Yeah, why not?
Why not make the unit smaller, right? So regardless if they have to go out and buy the chalk, the first one they buy at the store or wherever is a small one with the chalk in it, right? You work out a deal with a chalk manufacturer, right? But you have the little thing in this big that they have to fill it in that you can stamp onto your bag and not have it be that big. So you'll get a cut of not only selling the first round, but you'll get a cut of also them buying chalk all the time, right? And putting it in your little device.
Yeah, I mean, I think that my favorite thing is that it's simple, right? A lot of times when entrepreneurs are coming to the table, they're always figuring out what is the biggest problem that we can solve and change the world. This is pretty simple. A lot of times the simplest idea is the one that work. I mean, I agree with these guys' sentiments. It's really going to be about how you're going to attack the market. I guess, what exactly is it? Just curiosity.
As of right now, it's just regular chalk. And like you said, that could come into play on a super, super hot day or a really wet day. But the other thing with that is usually when it's that wet or that hot out, people usually aren't going to be out playing golf, especially those average golfers that are playing, once or twice a week maybe, if that. So, and that's a lot of people that we're targeting because there's a larger number of those people than that top 1% of the golfers that obviously, and we talked to some guys on our team and they said they wasn't going to buy it because they said that they didn't want to get rid of the glove. But that is, I mean, you don't have to take the glove away. All this is here for is to give you a little bit more grip. So you can keep your glove and use this arm and just get more grip. It doesn't have to be that you get rid of your hand glove and get rid of your regular glove.
How does it work when you put it on the glove? Does it stick
It does.
when the glove's wet?
Yes.
It just soaks up the moisture.
Right.
Yeah, that was my question. I mean, I was never a good golfer, more of a beer drinker, but when I played, I hated taking on and off the glove every time I went to putt, right? So, like, do you guys both use gloves as well, or?
Yes.
We both do, yes.
Okay.
And we would probably use this in addition on like a really hot day or a really rainy day.
Yeah.
Or we can get to the point where we're just so used to using gloves.
Yeah. I mean, I think the play is like, it's a very simple idea. I think you got to find some sort of like, sexy gimmick to it, right? Something that's going to be catchy, that's going to stick. Obviously, changing how it's dispensed is a good idea. Or even like I saw Kyle do the LeBron James thing, right? Like create some hilarious video where you guys are doing that, right? Or just anything that can draw some hilarity to it. But I think there's honestly a product market fit for it.
Yeah, so on those lines, I think chalk is really cheap. And what you don't want is somebody to go with the bigger mass producer to buy their chalk needs cheaper than yours. So I think having a product where maybe it's like a oven mitt looking thing with a zipper on it. It's got chalk inside. You hang that from your golf bag. You can stick your hand in, get chalk, pull it out, and now you're selling a product that you could patent and is unique. Sure. And then you want specific chalk that's not like the same thing on the market. Add something to it. It's a proprietary blend made specifically for golfers. One of the problems you'll have to figure out is, just like us, we got chalk all over us now. A lot of people playing at country clubs or things like that, they're not going to want to walk into the clubhouse covered in chalk. So finding out a way to make it, I don't know, that's going to be a problem that you'll have to look at, like not having it all over your clothes when you walk into the clubhouse when you're done around. And one thing that worries me is you guys still play with a glove, right? So you're not actually using the product yet. Maybe you just came up with it before you've actually played around. But I think getting... Yeah. But I think it's a great idea, and I think if you get people to try it, especially some local high-profile players, maybe the best guy in your team tries it, and other people are catching on, and eventually you get like a local amateur, a pro, or a country club to test it out. I think it's a really good idea.
Great.
Thank you.
Good job, Chris and Maxim. Thank you. Golf shop. Let me get out of your way. All right. Think we can take maybe a minute break or something like that?
Hot coffee! I got the hey, don't move up there, don't move. Something like rude to you, rude to you. Hey, needs a cup of coffee, good morning. Who needs a cup? You need a cup of coffee? Hey. I got your dark roast cup of coffee. Oh, man, I'm falling in the summer. Hey, coffee, anybody? Hey, coffee? Hey, you go. Hey, I got the light roast. You need a dark roast? You need a dark roast cup of coffee? Hey, this man's got the dark roast, I got the light roast. How we doing? Hey, everybody, how's everyone doing? So I'm Charlie.
I'm Jack.
And we're both juniors here at Wittenberg. We both play lacrosse. And I'm actually from Boston originally. And this past summer I was blessed to stay in Columbus for the summer. And I worked at this athletic club in Columbus. And I worked there with Jack. And we met a lot of interesting people. I learned a lot about the city. I learned a lot about the people who lived there. And in one of our conversations, Jack actually stumbled upon this great idea, which I'll let him tell you about.
So this idea,
originates from the steam room, as weird as that sounds. Post-workout, talking to a member, and he's just complaining. There's no good coffee. You gotta go 3 miles to get to Starbucks. McDonald's sucks. The coffee in his office isn't bad, or is really bad. Coffee he makes at home, he always forgets because he's in a rush. So I'm like, let's make a coffee truck. You know, everyone loves the ice cream truck. You hear the music, you flag it down, you get your ice cream. Why can't we just market that towards adults with coffee? So that's what we came into the Tiger Tape with, the coffee truck idea. But as you can see now, we actually have our coffee on our backs and on our feet, and that's not a coincidence.
So it might seem confusing why we went from the trucks to the backpacks, but the big thing was really just the feasibility of it. You know, we had a tough time picturing ourselves in a truck in downtown Columbus. You know, how are we going to sell this? But then earlier this week, you know, we figured out how we would make a prototype for this coffee. We put it on our backs, and we felt, wow, this could really be real. You know, GoCo Coffee could turn from an idea into actually reality for us. You know, and that's something that we could potentially do this summer. And you know, the internships that you guys have available to us would do more than cover the cost. And you know, we're not going to go out and buy a $50,000 truck before we've even sold a cup of coffee. It just doesn't make sense to us. In addition to that, you know, Jack and I are very personal people. You know, we're outgoing, we're social, and we like, you know, kind of be the center of attention. And and you know, the backpacks really help us do this. You know, in a truck, we're stuck on a 6-foot sidewalk. You know, we can't go meet face to face with our customers. With these backpacks, we can really relate to people and really, you know, have those interpersonal communication with those people. And yeah.
As far as future growth goes, we see ourselves with these backpacks on downtown Columbus this summer, hustling coffee. In the fall, we plan on coming back, finishing out our degrees, getting our finishing education, getting our degrees. By summer 2, we look to hire on more people, increase our backpack fleet, and if the time is right, invest into the truck. And then from there, we would look to expand to cities like Cincinnati, Dayton, Chicago, all with the backpacks first, followed by the truck. So we could, one, test the market, make sure that this is where we need to be, and then develop the brand recognition so people, when they see that truck, they know those are the GoCo guys.
And that really brings us, why are we here? Why do we need you guys? I mean, it's no secret these backpacks don't really have coffee in them. And that's why we need you. We need really networking in the area, we need mentorship, and we need guidance along this road. And
yeah, with that, we'd like to just thank you guys for giving us this opportunity. You know, this is the first one ever. This is very awesome for you guys to do. We'd like to thank everyone here. I'd like to give a special shout out to my parents who came up. And with that, we'd like to take any questions you guys have.
I'm still all chopped up from the last presentation. Where are you guys going to keep your cups?
So we've actually developed a couple ideas, either like along our sides, you know, maybe make a leg strap. So I'm doing kind of one of these things that fence up. That's really not decided yet.
That's a big issue. I mean, you're going to have to figure out how to. I mean, you can't have 20 of them on you, or maybe you can. I mean, you got to. That's going to be a big thing to conquer. When you get to the phase where you have to get the food truck, I got a solution for it.
Guys, awesome salesmanship. Like, well done, bringing the energy. I love everything about it. I think it's a good concept, and I love that you're starting small to work up to the truck. I used to live in St. Louis, where our office complex had a coffee and donut truck that came once a week, and people loved it. And there's huge markup on a cup of coffee, right? It costs next to nothing to make. You can sell it for $2-3 a cup. Same with donuts. So if you get to the point where you get to a truck, or you find a partner to finance that, I think that would be a very lucrative business for you guys. One thing that I would focus on is, I think you guys could kill this model going to events. When it's cold out, offering coffee and hot chocolate to people who can't leave the event, can't get to a vendor, they don't serve coffee, you guys would do really well there. In the summer, cold brew coffee, water, something, right? So there's a lot of uses for this. What you're going to need to focus on is just like a food truck. You're going to have permits or partnerships to do this. So to go sell on the street, you have to have a permit for that. If you link up with concert venues, events like that, where you're a partner, I think you guys can do really well. And at the end of the day, you got to have some type of hub so you can go back for more, right? Go get more coffee, find a way to keep it hot. Go back, have ice, reload on the cups. But I think this is an idea that can do really well. One thing you got to focus on too is scaling this. You guys have a ton of energy, you're great salesmen, but do you guys want to be serving coffee for the next 40 years? You got to hire people a lot like yourselves, right? And they're going to do a great job. What comes to mind is like Red Bull promotions, right? You go to an event and the Red Bull guys and girls are running around handing out cans and everyone's excited and everyone wants one, right? And for you guys, people would pay for that product, but getting the right people to serve it, I think is going to be big. Great idea.
No, I think the biggest lesson I've learned, the majority of the investments that I've made that have not returned anything, is that I now transition to just investing in people. Right? It's just about who are the individuals, do they have the passion and drive, because at that point, everything else will take care of itself. So, love the energy as well. Funny thing is, about 2 years ago, a buddy of mine from grade school came to me with this idea, actually, and I invested in it. And he has a mobile coffee business with a truck based out of Columbus, Ohio, called Wooden Shoe Coffee. Now, he's at the same problem right now. He's got a family. He wants to move back to Dayton, Ohio. He's looking to sell that business. So the infrastructure's already there. He already has a multitude of clients on board from a lot of different law firms and office parks where he has contracts. He's the #1 vendor. I think the bolt-on solution would be, instead of having those individuals come out to the parking lot, especially when it's cold, is use that as a centralized hub for your guys' ingredients and deploy yourselves inside, right? So the person can just not ever leave their grab cubicle, right, unfortunately. So I think we should 100% talk about that, because he's in the process. We actually just talked last night about, he wanted me to buy out the business from him and find another partner to come in. So definitely a very potential opportunity to help you get that, I'm sure. Yeah, without a doubt.
Great.
Thanks
for your attention.
Shirley and Jack, thank you. Go Coffee, love the energy. All right. We've got one more group of contestants coming your way in just a second. And if you're a parent of one of the presenters, you're doing it right. Good job on this adulting thing. 2, I want to shake your hand after this, so don't leave without meeting me. All right. We ready, ladies? All right. Next. I hope you're ready to be caffeinated, gentlemen, because we've got another coffee idea. Welcome, Quick Cup, Rebecca and Hannah.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Sadler. I'm Hannah Hobby, and our product is Quick Cup. We realized that in the mornings you can be in a rush, whether you have kids that you have to get ready, or perhaps you forgot to study for something, your shirt is wrinkled, you gotta figure that out. Personally, I have been the last in the car because I'm making my coffee, need cream and sugar, and I get reprimanded because something spills, and then prolongs the process. So with our product, we have the cream and sugar built into the cup, so you just have to add your coffee, and you're ready to go.
All right, so a little bit about the inside of the cup. So your cup would have something that kind of resembles a sugar cube. So it's condensed sugar with the creamer on the inside. And so you can get that in different variations, different amounts. So some people like their coffee with 2 creamers, 1 sugar, 3 creamers, 4 sugars, whatever, different varieties. So it would be in there secured on the bottom of the cup. They would be packaged very similar to how whenever you're at a hotel, your cups are individually wrapped. And then it would also be sold together in a pack. Kind of how you would buy like to-go cups at a regular grocery store.
So something that I have personally experienced in my life is that my grandma is losing her fine motor skills, and her mentality and everything is just going downhill. So I have witnessed her being troubled with opening a carton of creamer and also the little creamer packets, which you can get at a hotel. And so as a granddaughter, that's discouraging to see. And so with this, she would be able to just put her coffee in, and with older people that have similar issues, it's a morning task that they're used to doing, and so just losing that ability is very frustrating, and I can see that firsthand. So this would also be a product to help people that have lost their fine motor skills or progressively going downhill with those things in their life.
One other thing I forgot to mention earlier. So along with this cup, a big thing right now is making stuff that's biodegradable. So our cup would be made to where it can be recycled. And it's funny because we talked to the president of Green Club, and he thought it was an excellent idea. We've talked to multiple other people, and that's a big draw for a lot of people right now is to find items that are eco-friendly. Just a little bit more about us. I'm a business management major and a music minor. I'm looking to go into theater management and hopefully to stay in the Ohio area, preferably Dayton because I love Dayton. And that's my career goals.
I am a junior marketing major, theater minor, and I would love to do something with marketing and advertising. I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana, so hopefully something in that area. That is us.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, number one, thank you. I'm going to give you 2 plugs for your minors. Is it a minor or a major in music?
Minor.
Minor and minor, right? In theater. I will tell you a lot of the companies that I visit with that are looking for the right talent are looking for kids like yourself that differentiate themselves from everybody else. Everybody might have a business degree, and everybody might have a marketing degree, but what companies are looking for now are kids that think out of the box, that either can sing or dance or be able to talk to people instead of just texting and sending emails. And I firsthand have seen this almost a dozen times already in the last 5 months. So you guys are onto something. I'm not a coffee drinker. I like the idea. I'm not sure with how you're going to figure out how the cream is going to, is it 2 months? Is it 1 month? What's the longevity of the mix, right? Because you might end up throwing a lot of material out. So that's one of the thoughts you just might want to think about.
Nice job. I really, I like the idea, but I really like that you guys talked about other aspects after graduation, what you're interested in, what you want to do. So with the product itself, I think the cup may pose a challenge because if somebody's a 2 cream person, they're buying a different cup. If they're a no sugar only cream, they're buying a certain cup. So you have to come up with a variety of products. What I think could be viable is coming up, they already make sugar in cubes, right? And you're talking about having the creamer inside, which I assume would be a powdered product, so it has a longer shelf space. Having a product where it's almost like those Icebreakers mints, where they can carry it in their pocket or purse, and they can grab a cube, throw it in their cup of joe, and go. What you're going to run into is why would people pay for that whenever they're buying coffee somewhere? Usually the cream and sugar comes free. That's going to be the struggle. Is you got to figure out maybe how to make your product all natural or separate itself from a free add-on that coffee shops are giving away. But it's a cool idea, and obviously I know plenty of people who put specific types of salad dressing that fits their diet in their purse or any kind of dietary needs they'll keep on with them. So maybe finding a niche market where it's 100% natural or stevia-based or something like that. I don't need a person. Nice job.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle. That's exactly what I was going to say was the bottleneck is going to be trying to, solve this problem for a lot of different people. I think folks really honing in and figuring out, okay, what is that target market you're going to focus on? And then there's the partnership with the guys we spoke before in terms of how you guys are close to the cups that they're walking around with, right? So, formulating those types of partnerships can help you along the way as well. But great job, ladies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hannah and Rebecca, quick cut. All right, so we've concluded with the contestants. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take about a 10-minute break. We're going to confer with the Tigers, and we are going to have winners of this competition, what these students have been vying for over the last 6 months with these ideas and these prototypes and all the meetings they've had here on campus, culminating with this great presentation night, is paid internships with our 3 Tiger alums. So they'll be interning with their businesses this summer. It'll be a great partnership of mentoring in the entrepreneurial spirit as well as seeing the day-to-day work of an entrepreneur. So stick around for 10 more minutes, all right? And we're going to have some winners. We've got a ton of pizza over here, so please get over here and eat some. Dr. Kaplan, did I ever tell you my pizza joke? Never mind, it's cheesy. Testing 1, 2. Is this thing on? I don't think it was on before. I think a while after that. Shit, never mind. All right. If I could get everybody's attention really quick, let's finish this thing off. What a great event. Again, a lot of people's hard work went into this. I can't thank Dr. Tom Kaplan enough, Mass Entrepreneurship Chair here on campus. It's been several years, but being able to bring entrepreneurship as a major to a university like this is just such a phenomenal thing. Really pioneering the spirit all over campus. You've done a great job. Thank you again, Heath. I know your hard work went into it. Dr. Wendy Gradwell's in the back. Thank you so much for allowing us to do all this stuff. And again, the hard work that went into this by every single group and individual was just truly amazing. These students have been working on this for over 6 months. It's really, I feel like a proud dad seeing how the ideas have grown and changed and come into this great presentation tonight. All right. Drum roll, please. Let's get it. All right. So let's talk to the Tigers for just a second to find out, kind of some of the good things. What did you guys think about this event total?
Love the event. Obviously, I do venture capital, so I get to see a lot of different presentations from a lot of people on a lot of industries and literally a lot of things I know nothing about. So to a point that was given up earlier, it is when you invest with people, you want to invest with the right people and the people that you feel strongly that can get their product to the end line. So overall, I thought it was awesome. You want me to announce who I want? Or
yeah. Well,
I thought everybody was great, but let me just pass it over before I make my announcement.
We'll build on the suspense for a little
That's
bit.
right. That's what good TV shows made.
Let's take a break after we all
After this commercial break. But to piggyback on what Kevin was saying earlier, kudos to your faculty here, right? This idea started with an email to Dr. Gradwell, and she said, okay, interesting, let's run with it, right? Kevin continued to run with it, and you guys made this a wonderful event. Tom, obviously, your time at Wittenberg has been invaluable, and I know you're going to miss doing stuff like this, but hopefully you take it to the next place. So we've loved having you, right? But at the end of the day, they took a lot of free time and energy to provide an opportunity for 3, maybe more students. And man, I wish when I was a student here I had something like this. Because the idea was, in an interview, you're nervous, right? You're trying to get one job that you're competing with hundreds of people on. In this setting, you get to flourish and show your talent, show your idea. It doesn't even have to be a good idea, but it shows how committed you are to something. It shows where you excel or maybe where you need help. And that allows you to shine without having to be in an interview where you're stuck, nervous, sweating, and not able to give your best performance. So I thought everyone had a great idea. Everyone did an awesome job. So round of applause for your faculty and for the people presenting. Right? But my main feedback was I was really impressed with how many people had philanthropic ideas, where it wasn't about, hey, I want to make $1 million. It was, hey, how can I change somebody's life? How can I improve the quality of life for somebody else because of an experience that I had? And to me, that was really impressive. So nice job.
I was going to thank everyone for taking the time. This was awesome. This was something we never had. Everyone did a great job. We'll go through kind of the summaries here in a minute, but just my only advice would be, it doesn't matter really what you're doing, to Kyle's point. Like, it doesn't matter what your idea is, what you're studying, what you're majoring in. It's really just about your ability to build relationships and maintain those relationships with good intentions in mind. And everything else will fall into place. There's just a couple things that you can control in this existence. That's your attitude and your activity. If you wake up every day with a smile and go to work and bust your ass, everything else will fall into place. So thank you guys very much for taking the time. Greatly appreciate it. Without further ado, we'll go on commercial break and we'll go back to the winners.
All right, commercial break. Thank you. All right, so understanding these gentlemen all have an obscene amount of opportunity that surrounds them every day. They have not only entrepreneurial ventures that they're working on themselves and they could use these students' help with, but they also have a huge network of other entrepreneurs, other business owners, other people in all kinds of industry that can help. So if you are not one of the groups or people selected in this quote-unquote winner circle, we definitely want you to stick around because we have several other opportunities for you. And I'll let every individual kind of say what else they have available if they want to share that. But without further ado, I'll let Muddy Waters declare his Tiger Tank winner.
Thank you. I thought if I was putting money, I would probably put money with 3 of the groups tonight. One touched me. I have a dear friend of mine who started a business, and basically he will take a widget and walk it through its entire marketplace, from things you need to do, places where you should get it built, and what price points, and what's the market share or market environment that you're going to be entering. And my person who I thought just knocked the ball out of the park was Melanie. So I'm hoping that not only will she be working with me, but I will help her through the whole process with her endeavor with a group that I think will do a great job and give her wonderful feedback on where to get the next steps for her product.
Yeah, congratulations, Melanie. Again, all the groups were fantastic. A lot of innovative ideas. We were arm wrestling back there over who got to work with Melanie, and at the end of the day, Scott adds way more value. So I kind of have 2 offers on the table. Melanie, I would like to extend myself as a resource to you as well, and I think Scott provides much more value in terms of making that product a reality, but I would like to extend my time and contact info to help you any way I can with this idea, because I think it's fantastic. I think not only can it make money, but I love the story behind it, and I think you can be very successful with it, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
The group that I'm magnetized to are the guys from Golf Chalk.
Yeah, all right.
Let's talk after this.
So in the essence of, kind of choosing one quote-unquote winner, which I'll get to, I do have a handful of opportunities with kind of a multitude of things I'm involved in. I guess it's just really going to come down to kind of location. 2 of those are in San Francisco. One is in Kansas City, Missouri. The rest are here local. So I do want to get everyone's contact information to follow up, just to understand kind of what your motives are and what your potential freedom or flexibility might be like this summer for paid internships in some of these locations. So my one winner that I want to work kind of hand in hand with and really help get this off the ground is the Energetic Coffee Boys.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Congrats.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Look forward to working with you.
Yeah, sure. It's I love those guys' energy. I was mediocre C student at best. Never went to classes. She was making fun of me before earlier. But I just appreciate, I think attitude and energy is the most contagious thing that we embody, right? We walk around all day long. We get caught up into our own daily routine, but just that ability to smile and bring energy to the table is super infectious, and it doesn't really get a lot of credit in the mainstream. So appreciate your guys' enthusiasm. Not to mention there's obviously a viable opportunity with my buddy. So, but with that said, everyone else there, I do see a lot of synergy. So let's connect after this and figure out the best communication points, and we'll take it there. But guys, thank you very much. Looking forward to it. Cheers.
All right, if you thought you were getting out of here without a lesson from Professor Steidel, you were way wrong. Hopefully everybody saw tonight the key to all these great ideas, and what the Tigers brought was collaboration. All right, that's what really makes these ideas keep rolling over into more success and more success. I can't thank the Tigers enough for coming down here and passing the light on. Thank you guys so much. It truly is a great day to be a Tiger. So thank you, everybody. That's it.
Thank you, guys.